The member for Davenport.
Thank you, Speaker, and thank you, Minister. It's been a pleasure working with you and being your parliamentary assistant, and thank you for sharing your story as an immigrant to this country and to this province. And Mr. Speaker, before I begin, I just wanted to make note that I will be sharing my time with the member from Etobicoke Centre. And I'm pleased to join the debate on Bill 49, a bill to establish the Ontario Immigration Act. Ontario is only the second province in Canada to bring forward immigration legislation, and I'm very proud of our government's leadership in this area. Last week, the member from Windsor-Tecumseh stated incorrectly that Ontario is the last province to bring forward its own immigration legislation. It's a basic point of fact that Ontario is the second province after Quebec to introduce its own immigration legislation. I want to set this record straight at the outset, because Ontarians deserve clarity and accuracy. They do not deserve to be misled. As the Minister has stated, this bill is very important for newcomers and for employers, and its vitality important for Ontario. In fact, just last week I was in Windsor meeting with employers and talking about immigration, and those employers urged our government to continue playing a leadership role. I have one more point of accuracy before I move on, Speaker. Despite comments to the contrary to this House, last week, Ontario remains the #1 destination for newcomers to Canada. The sky is falling scenarios from the other side of the House just don't add up, Speaker. In fact, Ontario receives more immigrants than the combined total of all the provinces and territories west of here. More importantly, passing Bill 49 would make Ontario more competitive by drawing on the talents of every Ontarian and attracting the world's best and brightest. Our success in immigration policy, of course, relies on effective cooperation with the federal government. The bottom line is that we want to work with Ottawa to ensure that the right numbers of immigrants with the right skill sets come to Ontario to support our economic growth, which in turn supports Canada's prosperity. The proposed immigration legislation would help us do just that. The stakes are high. We have to ensure that we are meeting demographic challenges and attracting the skilled and talented newcomers who help grow our local economies. And in my remarks today, I'd like to focus on the economic contributions newcomers make to Ontario and how these contributions are needed today more than ever. But first, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the deep and enduring contributions newcomers have made to the quality of life we enjoy today. At every stage of Ontario's history, newcomers offered skills, knowledge, optimism, and hard work that advanced our economy and enriched our communities. Speaker, looking around this House here today, I see many members who, like myself, are children of immigrants or immigrants themselves. We can all personally identify with and attest to the struggle and get established in a new country, to learn new customs and a new language, to open a bank account, find a house, and pick a school. Our family arrived in Toronto from Portugal in 1970 and settled in the riding of Davenport. I went straight into kindergarten and began the process of adaptation. Most newcomers will tell you it's easier for children to adapt. My father attended ESL classes, and thank goodness they were available. But I'm grateful to my parents for giving me the opportunity to grow up in Canada and to be here today in this House. These are the experiences newcomers share with each other and help each other with. Immigrants chose Ontario because there was economic opportunity and the freedom to pursue it. Those contributions from immigrants in turn made the economy even stronger and broadened opportunity for the newcomers who followed. This is how immigration has traditionally worked in Ontario. But we cannot take it for granted. As the global economy continues to struggle and as Ontario industries face global competition, we are counting on newcomers today more than ever before. We know that newcomers today are finding it harder to become established compared to previous generations of newcomers. At the same time, Ontario is facing competition from other countries who also want to attract skilled, bright, and entrepreneurial immigrants. The Ontario Immigration Act would position Ontario for success in this global economic environment. As we all know, talent is the most sought-after commodity in today's economy. Entrepreneurial spirit, cultural knowledge, and creative thinking make economies more innovative and creative. Newcomers have a strong commitment to education. 3 out of every 4 newcomers arrive with at least one post-secondary degree. Newcomers bring innovative ideas and unique perspectives. They make valuable contributions to emerging industries like information technology, engineering, and bioscience. It's worth noting that a recent study by the American Partnership for the New American Economy found that 7 of the most valuable brands in the world, including Apple, Google, AT&T, and IBM, come from companies founded by immigrants or the children of immigrants. We've seen similar successes here in Ontario. Plastics Mobile, the firm where the previous version of this bill was announced last winter, is a good example of an innovative, leading-edge firm founded by immigrants and employing dozens of Ontarians. Many successful firms in Ontario are founded by immigrants. They are doing innovative work and creating jobs and wealth for Ontario. We also know that to a large degree, economic success for Ontario comes down to trade. That's the foundation of our success. In the global economy, Ontario's cultural diversity gives us a clear edge. Ontarians come from more than 200 countries and speak about 200 languages. Our diversity helps Ontario companies understand new markets and recognize opportunities. As we all know, we need more small and medium-sized companies exporting beyond North America. That's what our government's Going Global Trade strategy is all about. Our effort to tap into new markets is greatly enhanced by people who speak different languages, have international networks, and understand different business cultures. The personal knowledge and contacts of newcomers can make those markets a little less intimidating. And thanks to our diversity, people in those markets become more familiar with Ontario. When we take trade missions to other parts of the world, we're in a position to tell people that we have welcomed their country's contributions to Ontario society. I give credit to our Premier, who realized the natural connection between immigration and international trade when she appointed my colleague, the member from Markham, as Minister last June. She said to the Minister, "Take Ontario's diversity to the next level. Help our newcomers build these connections to their former homelands in a way that benefits everyone." We saw what success in this area looks like with the fantastic results of the China trade mission in October. Almost 2,000 new jobs will be created in Ontario thanks to the strong and enduring connections between China and Ontario. Of course, it's about more than just trade. With an aging population, low birth rates, and retiring baby boomers, we are counting on skilled immigrants to continue helping to meet future labour needs. Our success in utilizing the skills and talents of newcomers will largely determine whether Ontario reaches its full economic potential. The Conference Board of Canada tells us that the cost of underutilizing the skills of internationally trained individuals is about $3.4 to $5 billion in lost productivity. That means that if we want immigrants to choose Ontario, we have to help them settle and succeed as quickly as possible. And our government is doing exactly that. We've invested more than $900 million since 2003 to integrate newcomers into our society and economy. But we need to do more, and in a planned, strategic way. That's why Ontario now has an immigration strategy and a proposed new Ontario Immigration Act. As part of this effort, we've been working to engage employers more closely in immigration matters and diversity. That's because it is ultimately employers who give newcomers their first job. I believe that more employers are realizing that a diverse workplace is an advantage in today's global economy. Our employers know what is at stake, and their interest is high in making our immigration system work better. In other words, we must make sure newcomers know that we are not starting from scratch, that the welcome mat has been out for a long time, and that we are already a very diverse society. Speaker, it has been my pleasure to meet with Ontario employers this fall in Windsor and Oakville at an annual forum called the Ministers' Employers Tables. These roundtables are organized by our colleagues at the Ontario Chamber of Commerce, and I want to thank the Chamber for its vision and leadership in this area. The Minister Employers Table sessions are a part of Ontario's immigration strategy. Last year's sessions focused on immigrant selection. They introduced employers to the federal government's Express Entry Application Management System to be implemented next year. This year's sessions are focusing on labour market needs at the local level, and some key themes are already emerging from this year's tables. Employers are telling me that immigration is fundamental to Ontario's economic prosperity. They understand that Ontario must meet the demographic challenges of low birth rates with more immigration. And one participant noted, immigration is an investment in our economic future. They also realize that helping newcomers succeed in the labour market is a joint government employer responsibility. Employers understand they have a role to play in immigrant success and want to partner more with government and other agencies in this area. Employers also believe that Ontario must continue to position itself as a top international destination for skilled immigrants. Simply put, success breeds success. We must build on our well-earned and well-deserved reputation as a diverse and tolerant society to attract more skilled workers. Our brand must be as a top international destination for global talent. Employers also stressed the importance of soft skills like language and communications to a newcomer's overall success. While hard skills are often what initially attracts employers to a job candidate, employers cite soft skills as fundamental to success on the job. Multiple participants praised existing government programs that have helped immigrants refine their occupation-related language training and skills. I had the chance to see the fantastic newcomer settlement programs firsthand while I was representing the ministry at the employers' tables. In Windsor, I had the opportunity to tour the Centre for Skills Development and Training, and in Burlington, and the Training Centre in Burlington, and the Halton Multicultural Council. I also met with instructors and students at the Mason Educational Centre and also Collège Boreal campus in Windsor. One young woman's story from that visit particularly stands out. This young woman arrived in Windsor 18 months ago from China, and very much like my parents and countless other immigrants, she came to Ontario in pursuit of a better life. At Collège Boreal, she's receiving settlement assistance and language training. What struck me was her excitement about being here. She told me that she loves living in Ontario and that she wants to learn to speak English so that she can begin working as soon as possible and start giving back to a place she feels has already given her so much. And it's because of hopeful and optimistic stories like that that our government is bringing forward Bill 49. And it's why we support the various on-the-ground agencies who help our newcomers build the soft skills that allow them to offer employers a complete package and get started on the road to success. In his remarks, I heard the minister say that Ontario employers, communities, and our government are in the best position to decide our labour market needs in this province. And what we are realizing is that there are several different labour markets in Ontario. And we need to listen to employers and educators and workers and newcomers in those communities to fine-tune our immigration selection and recruitment to meet their needs. It is impossible for someone in Ottawa to be any closer to the ground than we are here. And here's our issue. We have the knowledge, but we don't always have the control to get the skilled newcomers we need and want. That's why we need to make immigration a top priority in this legislature, as our government is doing by introducing the Ontario Immigration Act. If passed, Ontario would be only the second province or territory in the country to have its own immigration legislation. It would also enable Ontario to welcome more highly skilled immigrants to help meet our future labour market needs. The legislative proposals would also strengthen our very successful immigrant selection program, the Provincial Nominee Program, and enable it to keep Ontario growing and keep Ontario strong. Around 97% of nominees remain in Ontario, and our view is that when something is working, we need more of it, not less of it. So we're going to maximize the value of PNP to our economy. The legislation would, if passed, demonstrate Ontario's leadership in immigration and position Ontario to take advantage of proposed federal program changes in the selection of economic immigrants scheduled for early 2015. This would include increased employer participation in immigrant selection, a key concern for businesses. If passed, the legislation would respond to labour market needs by expressly allowing the minister to set immigration targets in policy for provincially selected immigrants. The minister talked about fraud. Bill 49 recognizes that fraud is a two-way street. The system needs to be protected against fraudulent applications, and potential newcomers need to be protected from unscrupulous operators. Bill 49 acts against both. Having a robust compliance and informants regimen will help to protect applicants and deter abuses of their trust by predatory representatives, ensure that perpetrators of program fraud cannot profit from the system, and give Ontario's immigration officers greater ability to catch misrepresentation and go after those who take advantage of immigrants and the system. We are committed to respecting the principles upon which the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act is based. We have collaborated closely with Office of the Information and Privacy Commissioner regarding collection, use, and disclosure of personal information under the proposed immigration legislation. We want to ensure that we strike the right balance between the need to use information we collect under our selection programs and the need to protect applicants' privacy. Speaker, Bill 49 is the right bill at the right time for Ontario. Most importantly, it recognizes the long history of immigration to the province and creates a framework for implementing the province's immigration vision. Ontario competes with other places who are trying to create the best jobs, welcome skilled people, and attract new industries. To meet this challenge, our government is creating the conditions for growth. We have competitive corporate tax rates, among the lowest in North America. We offer attractive R&D incentives, among the best in the G7. We have a workforce that's among the most highly skilled and educated in the OECD. Yet, our most valuable asset is the skills of our people. It is an encouraging sign for our economy that so many highly educated newcomers choose Ontario, but we need to work to ensure they can contribute to the fullest. It's important to remember that many newcomers left home, family, and friends abroad. Others had opportunities to go elsewhere. They chose us. We need to do our best for them as they integrate, find jobs, and build a good life. When newcomers achieve their dreams for a better life in Ontario, their success makes life better for all Ontarians. Ontario has found strength in diversity. It's who we are, a diverse and welcoming province, a dynamic, growing, sustainable, knowledge-driven economy, a place with the highest quality of life, and people determined to keep making that quality of life even better. By passing Bill 49 into law, Ontario can strengthen our reputation as a place where people of all backgrounds can prosper, and we can support strong and diverse communities that nurture the best immigrants and the best citizens. Because when newcomers succeed, Ontario succeeds. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.